Avengers Kang Dynasty is set to debut the full might of the most fearsome multiversal conqueror to exist in the Marvel multiverse, and it's set to begin a collision course for the entirety of Marvel's known cinematic pantheon. Much like the projects before it, however, the Kang Dynasty was inspired by its own comic line, which features characters that have yet to be introduced into the MCU. One such character held drastic implications for the culmination of the comic arc from the Kang Dynasty itself in the comics, taking inspiration from this, and there is a possibility that this individual might be adapted for the MCU proper in the coming years, and could play an integral role into taking out Kang the Conqueror. So, stick with us today, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, and let's discuss how Marvel might change the origin of the Master of the World, and how this character might serve as an inspiration for an upcoming debut character in the MCU, a man who in the comic line was responsible for the defeat of Kang. The Master of the Universe, otherwise known by his other name Ishu, is a 40,000-year-old caveman from the Paleolithic era in northern Asia, and was mutated into an immortal being back when humanity was still in its infancy. Much like Kang, Ishu too became a fearsome conqueror, and was able to collect an arsenal of knowledge and technology from across the ages, using his battlefield experiences to outmaneuver even the most fearsome armies that the Earth had to offer. His scientific prowess allowed him to create technology that the Avengers would ultimately use to match and defeat Kang the Conqueror once he laid siege to their world, though we have reason to believe that the MCU might adapt the Master of the Universe into another character entirely, and potentially even another Kang variant. This proposal goes all the way back to a rumor regarding the introduction of the Beyonder, who was one of the most important figures in the original Secret Wars storyline. Secret Wars being what the 6th Avengers film and the culmination of the Kang saga will be based around. Several rumors from various sources have cropped up stating that the Beyonder will be reimagined as a Kang variant, but we can trace these reports back to a site called My Time to Shine Hello, a leaker that many know very well. This site has been known to produce reputable rumors, including accurate information pertaining to Spider-Man No Way Home far before the details were ever public. They accurately predicted Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's involvements, as well as several crucial details relating to the antagonists of the film, showcasing that this site has been accurate several times before this. However, this is not to say that they have been absolutely perfect, but they have been very accurate in the past. But again, what does this leaker have to do with the Beyonders, and what does the Master of the World have to do with this? The Beyonders are far beyond the scope of even what Kang is capable of in the comics. They exist outside of the multiverse itself, and to see this role filled by a Kang variant would be a massive departure from the original source material that several fans are already protesting. It would mean that one of the Kangs have achieved power beyond the multiverse itself, and has quite literally escaped the confines of reality. The closest we've seen to this so far, barring of course the cameo from Kevin in She-Hulk season finale, is He Who Remains. He Who Remains, who was able to take an external view of the multiverse from the end of time, but even he is still a mere human. Even though he was able to see the multiverse from the outside, he does not have the same level of inherent physical power that the Beyonders possess in the comic lore. So what if it's not actually the Beyonder that's going to be adapted into a Kang variant, but it is instead a character who played a role in defeating Kang, and a massive character who played a role in defeating Kang in the original pages of the Kang Dynasty source material? What if it's actually the Master of the World that will be changed into a Kang variant? Let us explain. This would make sense for a number of different reasons, not the least of which is the glaring similarities between the two characters. When the Kang Dynasty commenced, Ishu offered his weapons and services to the Avengers, protecting several North American cities from Kang's reach, and his arsenal was able to match that of even Kang the Conqueror, weapon to weapon. After the Avengers were defeated, they were able to repurpose the same tech for their own benefit, even using the technology to capture and imprison Kang with the aid of the Master of the World. In the MCU, we know that the greatest threat to Kang the Conqueror is other variants of himself, and wars between Kangs are the scorn of the multiverse. If the Avengers need to commandeer technology that can match Kang, what better place to look for that than another variant of the exact same individual? Perhaps even a much more benevolent and compassionate variant. In the comics, several Kang variants have become heroes in their own right, with perhaps the most notable example being Iron Lad. If Iron Lad came to be a hero, then who is to say that a variant of Kang can't also become an adaptation of the Master of the World from the Kang Dynasty original comic run? We can even take this idea a step further and suggest that there is a chance that the Master of the World might actually be He Who Remains, but much younger, before ravaging the multiverse and rebuilding the sacred timelines from scratch. While the second part of the theory is more speculative than anything else, it's still a fun idea to entertain, and decides to be more benevolent, and he tries to ward off his more bloodthirsty, tyrannical variants with his very own technology, only to ultimately become disillusioned with the idea of peace. Is it possible that He Who Remains will begin as an ally, set on maintaining harmony wherever possible, only to become the villain of Secret Wars by revealing his plan for ultimate peace as the final variant of Kang? And that idea of peace was introduced to us in Loki, and that is the utilization of Alioth the Usurper, the multiverse-destroying weapon. This would mean that He Who Remains could fill the original role created for the Master of the World from the original run, but rather than adapting Ishu as he is, they simply assign this role to another character that we already know, and would take less establishment than a brand new introduction, introducing the final Kang variant as well as adapting the Kang Dynasty. But anyway, my friends, and fellow watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, what do you think of this theory? And are you excited for Ant-Man Quantumania and the coming of Kang the Conqueror? Do you think there was a disconnect in the leak, and instead of the Beyonder being the one who was adapted into a Kang variant, could it be the Master of the World and Ishu like the original Kang Dynasty run? Let us know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. As always, my friends, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.